recording this sort of video is such a drag, and it's so difficult because I do not see the frontal camera of my phone, and I'm literally using the one at the back. Additionally, the following video idea, oh my god, was conceived originally in 2021. This is a video for which I had written a script back in 2021. Oh my god, when this particular question was posted on Reddit. I can't believe it. With that being said, what's up, Brave New World? It's Joshua again here with a brand new video in which we are going to get a little bit gloomy, maybe a little bit thoughtful. We are going to be pondering about a series of things, and we are going to be a little bit gloomy, as well as, how can I say this? Let me think of some synonyms. Let me think of some synonyms for the topic that we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about something rather gloomy, something a little bit, I mean gloomy in the sense of something kind of depressing, and probably a little bit with a little bit of despair, a little bit of blue, a little bit of cheerlessness, a little bit of woefulness, forlornness, gloominess, downheartedness, and a little bit of sorrowfulness that comes from the fact that today we're gonna talk about this very particular topic called, and you're gonna see it over here when this video is edited, ring. What's the sad reality of being an adult that young people should know? As I was telling you, this is a video for which I have written a script back in the year 2021, in September 29 and September 30 of the year 2021, when this video was posted on Reddit. In fact, yeah, that's the very day that this question was posted on Reddit. I like it a lot because I'm an adult born in the 90s. I was born in 1992, so that should give you an idea of how old I actually am. Alright? And one thing that you have to realize is that probably your parents also likely didn't want to be an adult, but they were kind of forced, and they were kind of indoctrinated, taught, and most importantly, probably they were, how can I say this? They were indoctrinated, they were taught, they were tutored, they were brought up in such a way that adulthood is something not probably to be looking forward to, not something that one looks forward to. However, is something that people born before the 90s and during the 80s and before, they see adulthood as something that, okay, let's get things done. Well, us millennials, on the other hand, we see adulthood as something rather frightening, and something rather adrenaline-inducing, and something that makes you nervous, you know? Something that makes you nervous, something that makes you rather jumpy, a little bit skittish, maybe a little bit tense, you know what I mean? And one of the most important kind of saddest realities that you have to face, and that I am facing right now, would definitely be the fact that responsibilities suck, and also the fact that you get to see your parents age. Nothing gets you ready for that. And probably if you get to live long enough, you eventually see people that you love drift apart, grow apart, or in the worst case scenario, die, pass away, go to prison, just cut contact, hopefully no animosity whatsoever was there, etc. But one more time, going back to the point that I was talking about, the biggest realization that you get as an adult would be the fact that you get to see your parents age. And hey, I'm a privileged guy whose parents were rather loving, and whose mom happens to be a hardworking one, loving one, affectionate one, who with all her imperfections, was perfect, and with all her flaws, she was flawless. In the grand scheme of things, of course. So yeah, the question that we're going to be reading today is something that I think it's not a bad idea to talk about. People need to talk about bad things, negative things, sad things, gloomy things, because by talking about the negativity in life, one gets to learn to appreciate the positive things in life, you know? Quoting a very good Mexican director who is a patriot of mine because he's Mexican just like me, Guillermo del Toro once said, let me find that quote. Roughly, he said something that was something on the lines of, he is such a happy person, a cheerful guy, someone who's a joy to be around, who produces the weirdest, scariest, darkest, and most exuberantly dark movies in existence. I hope I'm making sense with what I'm saying. The moment that you become more aware of the bad, sad, negative, gloomy things, you start to appreciate the little things in life. Therefore, the reason I'm making this video is that an uncomfortable conversation that is going to be had means that one gets ready for whatever that uncomfortable conversation was talking about. For instance, one uncomfortable reality of life is that if you're going to have carnal intercourse with other people, you need to be responsible and have protection so that you don't make a mistake that ends up calling you mom or dad. Did I just call a kid a mistake? Sounds horrible, but yes, I did, and I have not made that mistake. Fatherhood and motherhood needs to be wanted, otherwise shouldn't exist. Again, and that's why, because my mom had the uncomfortable conversation about human reproduction and human procreation and human copulation, which us humans, alongside dolphins, we are the only species that have mating rituals. We are the only species that copulate in order to, not just in order to procreate, but just because of pleasure, out of enjoyment and out of pleasure, you know? And that's something not so bad that differentiates us from the rest of the animals and dolphins. Yeah, therefore, this conversation I feel is kind of, not uncomfortable, but maybe a little bit irksome, I believe. Let me think. What was the word? Uncomfortable. What's the word that I'm looking for? This conversation may not be uncomfortable in and out of itself, but it can be maybe a little bit painful, thought-provoking, excruciating, and maybe aggravating. Yes, I'm looking for synonyms, as well as music for me to listen to while I'm talking about this, and I'm also talking in front of the phone and in front of the camera. So yeah, the following topic that we're going to talk about again is going to be ring. Once again, I'm repeating it. What's the sad reality of being an adult that young people should know? As I was telling you, I made this script many years ago, and I can't believe I'm doing it again. In the meantime, I'm going to be listening to the Hungarian Rhapsody by Liszt. Not Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm going to listen to Hungarian Rhapsody. The topic is this: the sad reality of being an adult that young people should know. I'm an adult myself, and I hate it. And one thing that young people need to know, which I have written in the previous script, just copy-pasting answers, was one day your parents will need your help from getting older, and they likely won't tell you. Oh, that's just my scarf. And one day you show up for a visit and it hits you like a ton of bricks that they need help. My mom is not even that old yet, and I still think that she could use my help. It's not like she's begging me for help, because in that regard she and I are kind of stubborn, in the sense that she's not gonna tell me that she's having a problem because she's protecting me, you know? The typical thing in which you protect the younger, more innocent siblings, the more innocent kids, from the harsh realities of life, such as drama, fights, conflicts, etc. Basically the lure of whatever family. And yeah, to that somebody replies, visiting, give me a second. Visiting, to that one person replies, to this one person replies, and this was probably a deleted reply because it says, oh my god, holy shit, the same thing with me, you know? Why? Because, holy shit, same thing with me, except grandparents instead of parents. Visiting my mom's parents means playing tennis and drinking homemade booze on the patio. Visiting my dad's parents means helping my grandfather walk, get to the bathroom, bringing them food, and then listening to my grandmother rant about how she can't take care of him anymore and berate him for ruining her life. I mean, it's emotionally draining to listen to her while also keeping him company and reassuring him that we want to be there and he's not a burden, but we are just giving her a break. I can't imagine what it's like for either of them, but it's hard to see her be so mean to him. Ouch. She also gets up and goes to the other room to get a break from him, and he's happy to have a break from her. But it puts me and my siblings in the most awkward situation of having to choose one of them to sit down with and ignore the other one. I love them dearly, but I just realize now that I also have that counting down the minutes until we can reasonably live thing going in the back of my head. And they used to be the grandparents that did more for us and were more fun to visit. As kids, they take us to the movies, beach, swimming pool, mall, arcade, etc. But it's happened so gradually that I can't remember the point. It became us taking care of them. I can imagine when it's my parents. Getting old sucks, and I'm scared. Me too, man. No one from my generation wanted to grow up. I understand the Peter Pan syndrome, but at the same time, even if I may have it, that doesn't stop me from being functional, from being a parasite, from being a freeloader, and more importantly, from being a 200% dependent on my mom, because I try to avoid being like this idiot, despicable freeloading leech from the TV show by Nickelodeon, Hey Arnold, Oscar Kokoschka, stupid idiot who is just a freeloading leech that sucks on others, only cares about himself even if he loves others and his wife, but he hates working like a pathetic idiot. In case you don't know who I'm talking about, back to the topic. Back to the reading of the comments. One person replies also, holy shit, this gave me a bit of a ding moment. Ding moment. Visiting my fiance's family means drinking a few beers and shooting the shit and eating some good food and whatnot. Visiting my mom means playing therapist for a few hours and counting down the minutes until we can reasonably live and being mentally exhausted afterwards. Fuck, I had never really compared the two experiences until now. Oh my effing god. Once again, in a way, I'm so glad that none of my grandparents were like that. My grandpa died. My maternal grandpa, the father of my mom, passed away because his body was deteriorating, and he was never mean to everyone. I kind of remember that. However, there is some lore that proves otherwise, and that proves that he was a terrible father but a wonderful grandfather. A lot of grandparents are like that. On the other hand, my grandma was the hardworking matriarch, the hardworking elephant matriarch that basically was the leader of the pack that brought up all the boys and the girls. My two uncles and my three aunts and my mom. They were 6 kids. And let's just say that had it not been for her, they would have had rather different destinies and fates. I hope I'm making sense with that comment. Let us continue with another comment. Let us continue with another reply. I like this one because this resonates with me and a beloved friend of mine whom I recently met with in order to have a conversation, have a long chat, talk about stuff, talk about life, and most importantly, have some pizza. Alex, si estás viendo esto, cabrón, si estás viendo esto, pedazo de imbécil, te quiero muchísimo. Alex, if you're watching this, you stupid idiot, you stupid motherfucking idiot. Sorry for the swear word, but I did it. I should have warned before that. Sorry. Alex, if you're watching this, you stupid idiot. You stupid F word. You stupid F word, that is to talk about people who are homosexual, especially men. You stupid F word. I love F word. I love you very much. Te amo muchísimo, pedazo de imbécil idiota. Let us not no olvidemos que eres mi amigo y eso es lo que importa. Back to the speaking of the topic of friends. Me talking about my friend Alex resonates because the following topic, the following point, the following answer resonates with me because it's about friends, and it says not a TV show, but friends in general, and it says TV series always portray friends hanging out all the time as though their schedules always sync. It couldn't be much farther from the truth and reality. In reality, you barely get to hang out together or even talk in group chats because everyone's busy with work and the ups and downs of adulthood. Especially the downs, which is surviving the paycheck to paycheck. Even if I have a job, for which I'm so thankful, I never take it for granted, and I always appreciate this type of privilege. Apart from that, I live alone, but I have my family back in my other town, in my hometown, because they live there, they are there, and I can go to them and talk to them whenever I want. To that, another person replies, and just when you hit a good rhythm of hanging out with a good friend, one of you will have some life-changing event, and the whole thing gets disrupted. For example, has to move away, have a kid, etc. Me and my neighbors / childhood friends, that thing is happening precisely. I'm gonna mention your short names, guys. Danny, Alex, Lil, if you're watching. Alex, Danny, Lily, si están viendo esto, los quiero. And your parents, Rit and Pap. Your mom, Rit, and your papa, Pap. Pap, that's a short name, that's a nickname. Los quiero mucho, Don y Doña. Los quiero mucho. I love you. But again, in reality, you barely get to hang out together or even talk in a group chat because everyone's busy with work. No. Sorry. Let's do it again. And just when you hit a good rhythm of hanging out with one good friend, one of you will have some life-changing event happen. Open parenthesis. Has to move away or has a kid, etc. And the whole thing gets disrupted. With the 3 friends whom I mentioned, that's happening precisely. One of them officially got married and married her romantic partner of many years, and they are having a baby. That's very wonderful. Congratulations. And the second one, the middle child, is living in another place, and he is living with his girlfriend. If he marries her, I hope you do. And the youngest one also has a wonderful girlfriend. I hope you marry them. Again, they have their own lives, and for that reason we drifted apart. Apart from that, I moved away to a different town. And that's why we hardly talk, but the friendship and the feeling is still there. We still love and care about each other, and I write them letters, handwritten letters, not emails, handwritten letters. That was the Hungarian Rhapsody, 10 minutes. let's move on with something else, shall we? Oh my god, I'm gonna be listening to some sad music from my past. One composed by a Russian guy whom I used to frequent and who unfortunately deleted his account. Roman, what did you do? Anyway. Moving on to the topic of friends and the idea of drifting apart. Oh my, I believe that this video is gonna have a lot of ideas, and I'm gonna be talking a lot. But that's the idea. That's why I started this in the first place. Let's do this. To that, another person replies, my friend and I would just decide on a whim to drive somewhere and go out on adventures all the time. Then he got his girlfriend pregnant, and we just can't do that anymore. Yeah. I'm a child-free person, and I'm not here to demonize the idea of having children, especially when they are planned. Alright? I'm not here to demonize it, but truly, my idea resonates with the next person that replied, because they said, I silently start to say my goodbyes to friends as soon as I heard, open quotations, we're pregnant, close quotations. I'm happy for them, but I know that our friendship, as we know, it is over. And it is not to say we aren't going to stay friends, but I also know that there is no going back to those days again. I'm crying so much at the same time, because yeah, we're never going back to those days, but at the same time, hey, be happy if it's planned fatherhood or planned motherhood. I keep the goodbyes to myself as an inner dialogue, because I don't really want to make them feel uncomfortable or hear them fruitlessly try to convince me that we'll still be the same. It's like, no you won't, dude, no you won't, chick, that kid is your life now, and it is okay, once again, as long as it is planned, as long as it is wanted. The following idea will sound like such a big show of prejudice, but it's the truth, like me. Oh my god, that sounds terrible. Back to the idea. That kid is your life now, and that is okay. Let's just not try to hold on to something that we both know is wrapping up. And to that another person says, I'm in pain, like me right now, because it's a Sunday afternoon, it's a Sunday morning, and I decided to, a Sunday evening, and I'm doing this, and I don't mind because I like to do this, but at the same time, it happens. That's another complaint for another day. Let's move on to another reply. Speaking of friends, not the TV show, and How I Met Your Mother, the actual series, abbreviated with HIMYM, How I Met Your Mother, this person replies, that annoys me so much on How I Met Your Mother, but I can rationalize it. Ted and Marshall, I don't know who they are, live in the same apartment, and you generally see your roommate a lot just by being in the same place. Lily and Marshall were engaged and married, or so they come as a unit. Barney's job was a spoiler. Barney's job, I know who that is. I think he's played by, give me a second, I need to check who played that. Barney Stinson. Who plays that? Neil Patrick Harris. Back to the idea. Barney's job was, a spoiler, to just sign everything and get paid mountains of cash so he can fuck off whenever he wants. And Robin worked on an early morning show, so she would have plenty of evenings free to hang out, drink, and then get woken by her alarm and regret everything. Again, it's fiction. Of course, your schedules are not gonna sync forever. Your schedules are not going to sync, you know? As I said, my friend Alex and I, we have to organize and arrange our schedules for many hours and a long time in order to make sure that we have a day off so we can meet up. The following photo I'm gonna share with you was my friend Alex and I after coming back from the hot springs. Let us continue with another reply. That was about friends, right? Oh yeah. Reply number 3. As an adult, you'll find yourself wanting to be alone. Yet, you'll realize you just don't want to be lonely. That one resonates with me right now. I'm single and I'm alone. I live alone. I live in a different town. I work on my own. I pay my bills. I'm an independent adult, and that's amazing, but sometimes it gets lonely. For things like this, I appreciate every time I have a romantic relationship, or I appreciate every time that I visit my family, with whom I have the best relationship, with whom I have a most amazing, loving, affectionate relationship. Sure, with ups and downs, but it's there and it's good. Even with all the flaws, it's flawless, and even with all of its imperfections, it's perfect. As an adult, you'll find yourself wanting to be alone, yet you'll realize that you don't want to be lonely. Sometimes it gets lonely. That's why I have this little friend here that I adopted. You know, come here, honey. Say hello to the camera. Thank you for being here. This is why I'm always adopting a friend. Adopting a pet is not a bad idea because it can help you fight loneliness as well as solitude, gloominess, and the feeling of dread that comes with certain types of solitude, you know? Not solitude, loneliness. Adopting a pet can be quite beneficial, and she's the example. And ever since May the 20th, 2020, she basically kept me sane. I love you, honey. Come over here. Jump. And that's why a pet can come in handy. They can provide emotional support, they can provide a source of exercise as well as other perks, you know? I hope I'm making sense with that word. Jeje. The difference between cats and dogs. Speaking of company, cats are more independent and they are more for people that want someone that, how can I say this? Someone that doesn't want to leave your house. Dogs, on the other hand, are more affectionate, but they are super dependent on you and you have to get them out for a walk. If I had a dog, I would do my best to take my dog for a walk. To this one I just read about not wanting to be lonely, another person replies, that was something I wrestled with when I met my fiance. For years I've lived alone and I enjoy having my time be my own, yet always wanted someone to share it with. Now that someone will be living with me, possibly for the rest of my life, I was wondering to myself how I'm going to deal with that. But the more I fall in love with her, the more I'm excited to put the old bachelor life behind me and start this new chapter. When you can do it, you know you found the right person. I don't know who you are, friend, but I hope that you're having a wonderful, happy life without any challenges. And if there are there, may them be positive challenges and not negative challenges. That was really... I wanna cry, but they're gonna be happy tears. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's the duality of solitude and loneliness, you know. Let's go. That's the following comment that I'm going to read shows the duality of loneliness and solitude, because this person replies, this is one reason I broke up with my girlfriend this weekend. This comment was written on the same day, September 2021, day number 29th. This is one reason I broke up with my girlfriend this weekend. She wanted to be near me constantly. If I got time to myself, it wasn't long and I couldn't wait to be alone. I wasn't enjoying her company and it wasn't changing, so I ended it. Yeah, lonely versus solo. It's a difference. Oh my god, this person says, sorry about your breakup, but you've made the right call. I've dealt with clingy relationships in the past, and they never end well. It just screams insecurity and lack of trust. You can be clingy, you can be wanting to be with that person all the time, and still make it loving and affectionate. Oh my god. Sorry. Sorry, I'm back. Again, you can be clingy and wanting to not let go that person from your embrace and still not make it clingy or not make it insecure or lacking in trust. I'm proud to say that I have relationships like that. Moving on to something that actually sucks. It says, bills never fucking end. For years, every 30 days I was like, what the fuck? I paid this bill already, just for it to happen again 30 days later. To this one, someone replies, but give me a second, I need to clean my nose. Oh my god, it's getting cold and it's 17. My legs are cold and it's 17 degrees outside. That's not bad. Again, 17 degrees Celsius, by the way. 17 degrees Celsius. I don't know what the heck is that in Fahrenheit, and I don't care. Metric system, metric system, metric system, metric system, metric system. Now let's go back to this. I have a couple of auto-paid bills, and I swear every month I have to go back and check the bank account to make sure the last one was indeed a month ago. And I will swear I just paid it last week. It's so irritating. Yeah, but hey, the internet that I have to use to make this video, edit this video, and then afterwards post this video, it's not gonna pay on itself, you know? Let's go for the next one. Oh my god. This one hurts because makes you think that, reminds you that you have to take care of yourself and no one else is gonna do. Your mom and dad are doing it because they brought you into this world, hopefully out of love. Therefore, that's their obligation apart from loving you. But this one resonates because it says, no one else has the time to look out for you. They are busy looking out for themselves, so save money, eat healthy, get enough sleep. No one else is going to make sure you're doing those things but you. I need to make sure I eat, I take a shower, I clean my clothes, I clean my room, which I hardly ever do. And most importantly, help me, I forgot. And most importantly, oh my god. And most importantly, I need to make sure that I'm healthy, you know? Damn it. I hope I'm making sense. Let's move on to another reply. Oh my god. The next reply is a harsh realization. When you are a selfless person, because if you suffer from this heartbreak too often, you're going to start becoming less caring than you used to be. Because this person says, When you find... there are two replies, I need to read them. When you find someone who genuinely cares about you. When you find someone who genuinely cares about you and helps to take care of you, make sure you take care of them back and do your best not to let them go. And you are going to meet people that you care about who simply are not going to take care of you back. Again, like Oscar Kokoschka from A. Arnold. I hate this idiot. Should his life be ended? I wouldn't even mourn him. One more time. And you're going to meet people that you care about who are simply not going to care, who are simply not going to take care of you back. They'll say they will, but they won't. You have to cut them loose, and this never gets any easier. And by the way, this person posted this comment because this person had to cut. This person then says, it's an edit. Thank you very much everyone for the awards. I only posted it because I had to cut my best friend loose a year ago and I wish I had done it sooner. I'm glad you did. Don't use the word best friend so easily. Do it with someone who has helped you through hard times. That's someone that deserves the title of a best friend. That was the reply number... that was the reply number 5, I think. Let's move on with another one that says... Oh my god. This one makes me realize that one takes for granted, one takes life for granted, and one takes going back home alive for granted, because it says day to day can be very boring. And more often than not, if it's not boring, you're going to wish it was. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you saying that day to day can be very boring, and more often than not, if it's not boring, you're going to wish it was? Yeah, because you have a lot of drama and a lot of stressful situations going on, and you just want to have a normal, calm, peaceful, boring life. Do I understand that right? In the comments below, tell me if I understood that correctly. To this, another person replies, this describes my work. This describes my work day, comma, every day. And to that other person replies, I enjoy my job, but it's really easy to look up and say, a year went by. What did I do? As a kid, there were so many events and seasons, sports and graduations, etc. Adult, 3 years in the same gig with the same people. Not something we really prepare people for. Come on, that's not so bad. A little routine never hurt anyone. And there are thousands of people who appreciate a good routine and constancy in their lives. Do we have any comments? Let us continue. Let us continue. I got lost. Oh my god. The following person talks about the impending sense of doom and feeling that you didn't achieve anything, because it says, life and opportunity isn't nearly as long and boundless as it seems as a kid. Once again, growing up and becoming an adult sucks. To that, one person replies with a quote from a book called The Sheltering Sky, written by Paul Bowles. Paul, Paul Bowles, and the death, and the quote goes, death is always on the way, but the fact that you don't know when it will arrive seems to take away from the finiteness of life. It's that terrible precision that we hate so much, but because we don't know, we get to think of life as an inexhaustible well. Well, I remember what that is. Yet everything happens a certain number of times, and a very small number, really. How many more times will you remember a certain afternoon of your childhood? Some afternoon that's so deeply a part of your being that you can't even conceive of your life without it. Perhaps 4 or 5 times before. Perhaps not even. How many times will you watch the full moon rise? Perhaps 20. And yet, it all seems limitless. To this one person tells us a short story. Oh my god, this person tells us a story that says, "That just made me remember my 9th grade birthday present, and I thank you for sparking the memory. I was and I am deeply in love with drumming, but my family was in dire straits. My dad was sick and hadn't worked in 2 years. Mom cleaned houses to keep us under our roof. I wanted a drum set, but obviously we couldn't afford it. Obviously. On Christmas Eve, they had me and my siblings open gifts, our traditional time for it, and I opened up Sildian cymbals for a drum kit. They tempered my excitement by emphasizing that they could never afford a full kit, but wanted to show us that we were going to work on it. They got cymbals or kimbals, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and the rest would come as my dad got on his feet. I cried at even the idea, went and hugged them each. Then my dad remarked that we were missing a gift, and he must have left it in the room. Check it up, why don't you go get it for us? Check it up. Champion, my boy, why don't you go get it for us? I walked in, and the set up was a gorgeous drum set all ready to play. Only thing was missing was the cymbals I had just received. I started bawling. I have no clue how they bought it, though I have guesses that range in responsibility, but I'll never forget it. FTR, what's the meaning of the abbreviation FTR? This is beautiful and wholesome. FTR meaning. What does that mean? For the record. It says, for the record, I kept playing and taught drums in high schoolers for about 14 years after that before pivoting careers. Doing it was worth it. Doing it was worth it with the kids' lives at touch. But damn if that wasn't a great childhood memory I hadn't brought up recently. Thanks for plugging that thought back into my head tonight. That's a beautiful story. In that case, speaking about memories from childhood, one of my most recent memories would be visiting my dear grandpa Lucius, or Lucio. I'll try to include a picture somewhere. Lucius. Me and my sister enjoying the music of the Bastard Boys. The song Bap by Hanson. I hope that I'm not censored by this, but I'm gonna go. Screw it. Yeah. Hanson brothers, I love you for this. You are heavily appreciated by this Mexican guy who used to love this song when he was a little kid. Hanson, oh my god, the brothers who are Isaac, Taylor, and Zach. You made my childhood amazing, thank you. And yeah, I still love Bap, no matter how many years what happened. Let's continue. With other words. Oh my god, that made me teary-eyed. That was cute. Oh, the following thing is something that would make any little kid terrified, frightened, and scared. Eating all the snacks is not a good idea. Whatever snack that you could think of, whatever little snack that contains sugar, whatever little snack that you enjoy because it's sweet, tasty, spicy, or whatever, acid, salty, or anything, it's delicious for a kid because it has sugar. However, too much sugar may not be the best option for your body. It doesn't matter what snack it is, whether it is, and here's a list of snacks that I'm getting from the internet. No, I did not ask ChatGPT for that. I just checked for snack words. on the internet, and this is what I found. I found eating, if you wanna eat your breakfast, if you wanna eat snacks for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's not a good idea. Things like chips, potato crisps, tortilla chips, nachos, pistachios, walnuts, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, candy bar, chocolate bar, fruit bar, protein bar, granola bar, energy bar, crackers, pretzels, popcorn, cheese puffs, breadsticks, cheese sticks, rice cakes, pita chips, cheese cubes, string cheese, trail mix, dates, fruit snacks, dried mango, dried apricot, or any dried fruit with a lot of sugar, banana chips, raisins, jelly beans, muffins, and the most important, not fruit leather, or fig rolls, but gummy bears. Eating a kilogram of gummy bears for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's a terrible idea as an adult. Why? Because later, going to the restroom for number 2 and evacuating that in the final track of the digestive system is gonna be a nightmare. To that, one person replies, Mia 23, I can eat half a gallon of cherry cordial ice cream for breakfast and nobody can stop me. Me still at 23, but 2 hours later on a toilet? Oh, so that's what's stopping me. Me at 31 on the toilet the next evening, it's still what's stopping me. Oh my god, holy shit. 8 years in just a couple minutes or one day? Wow. And yeah, one more time. One as an adult needs to eat healthy and properly because your body needs it. Your body does. When you grow up, your body doesn't have the same metabolism that you used to have when you were a kid. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where was I? That was the reply number 7, I think. I don't know. This one teaches you about accountability for men and women. There is a dumb meme that says, and I hate it, but at the same time, from time to time, you can find people that meet the criteria that says, women don't have accountability, which is ridiculous and such a red pill nonsense. Hey, if girls don't have accountability, what about deadbeat parents? If girls don't have accountability, what about deadbeat parents? No. What about deadbeat fathers? What about deadbeat men that just go and have the mating ritual? They just have the copulation. They just do the lubi-lubiar, the lubi-lubbing. They just like to do the mating call in order to copulate and do... And they have sexual intercourse. Let's call it for what it is, alright? What about the men, males like me, that have sexual intercourse with a woman, that they have sexual intercourse with a woman, and as a result, ta-da! Because you did not use one of these, ta-da! A new life is conceived. One that is now a series of responsibilities. No thank you. Men also can be without accountability as well. It's just in a different way. Back to the topic. It says, there are actual consequences for doing whatever you want. Again, there are consequences for your actions. Me personally at work, I'm actually facing, to this day, the consequences of a stupid action I did a while ago. Let's just say that it's the rough equivalent of dropping something fragile and easily broken and damaged onto the water, figuratively speaking, and without going into much detail. And as a result, I'm still keeping my job, but still, they gave me the scolding of a lifetime. Basically, they didn't give me just a slap on the wrist, they slapped me totally. Again, figuratively speaking, there are consequences of your actions in general. To that, one person replies, I've been trying so hard to make my 10-year-old understand that I don't want to spend my weekends doing laundry and yard work. That I would much rather be reading or eating cherry turnovers. I love it. There are actual consequences for just doing whatever you want. True. That couldn't be more true. So that's why the music didn't sound so loud. Anyway, let us continue, shall we? Once again, in general, there are consequences of your actions, and that's why I avoid doing certain actions, so that there are no consequences that I have to face. I don't want to face them, so I avoid doing them. That's the best course of action that you can take. Oh my god. Oh my god. The following phrase says, you don't have much free time and no one will take care of you. Only you. And if your mom still works, and if your mom or dad are still alive, they care about you and they care for you. And they care after you. And they take care of you. Like, whatever. If they still care about you, okay? And if your parents, mom or dad, or both, still care about you, and they care about you and they care of you, you better appreciate it. One celebrities, to that one person replies. One person replies, one celebrities that were not old when you were growing up begin to die off from old age. One celebrities that were not old when you were growing up begin to die off from old age, or your parents or their cohorts begin to die off from old age. Your mortality becomes tangible in a way it never was before. Oh my god, it's no longer beyond the horizon. It's raining outside, I think. It's no longer beyond the horizon. It's perceivable whenever you look to it. And sometimes it's hard not to look. Oh my god, yeah. Many of the celebrities that were adults when I was a kid, they become old when you are a young adult. They start dying. Oh my god. One celebrities, let us read it again, shall we? One celebrities that were not old when you were growing up begin to die off from old age, or your parents or their cohorts begin to die off from old age. Your mortality becomes tangible in a way it never was before. It's no longer beyond the horizon. It's perceivable whenever you look to it. And sometimes it's hard not to look. Oh my god. I'm 33 years old right now. I'm recording this video in November 2020. November 23, 2025. Year 2025, and I'm 33 and I still feel that. Time is running so fast. Always. All the effing time. To that, one person replies and says, Jack Black getting gray in his beard was a huge wake-up call for me. I hope that I look good when my hair starts turning gray. I hope I look as good as Jack Black, Yusuf Dikec, the Olympic shooter, or... let me think. I hope I look as good as Antonio Banderas even. I know I don't. I just hope I look good, no matter what my age is. One has to accept it. It's hard, but it's true. Speaking of accepting growing up, speaking of accepting that death is always a couple meters away, and speaking of not wanting to grow up, speaking of not wanting to grow up, there is this comedian whose sketches talk about generations. There is this comedian whose content talks about generations, and what's the name of this one? Millennials versus Gen Z. The name of this guy is what's your name? Mo the Prince. His channel will be in the description below. Again, the name of this guy is BMO, the Prince. And the sketches of this guy frequently will feature the generations, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Millennials, Gen X, Boomers, and the Silent Generation, interacting with each other. And one constant rolling gag is the fact that Millennials hate growing up, they hate becoming adults, and they hate the fact that they grow up, the fact that they hate the fact that they grow up, and they hate becoming adults. And that's why I feel the conversation and the topic being talked about in this video is a necessary conversation to have. Growing up sucks, and one part of it is loneliness. It hurts. Let's move on to another reply that says and this reply reminds me of the friends I talked about previously. My 3 friends who are also my neighbors in my hometown. My 3 friends and their mom or dad, all of whom were my neighbors and friends back in my hometown. It says, you'll most likely grow apart from a large portion of your childhood friends, which isn't a bad thing. Life will take you all in different directions, and you'll hopefully be able to make new friends that are more similar to who you grow up to be. Also, that beautiful head of hair you're so proud of might not be permanent. Keep an eye on that hairline, fellas. I'm not bald yet. I'm not yet 40, and still in touch with that exact one person from my teen years, and then only in random passing through texts. The rest all moved on, died, or went to prison. As I said, my 3 childhood friends and I grow apart. We drifted apart. They are still in my hometown. I'm here. We grew apart, but hey, there is no animosity. The friendship is still there. Every time I go there for a visit, they receive me with open arms, which frankly I do not take for granted, and I appreciate. Yes. Let's move on to the next part that says, if you don't put yourself out there, you won't have friends. It sounds so obvious, yet it's also such a wake-up call, you know? You have to talk to strangers from time to time. In controlled circumstances, alright? In controlled circumstances. And making sure that you have things in common. For instance, I have wonderful friends from around the world with whom I share interests such as language learning, music and stuff. Oh my god, the reply given to this by other person, both of whom deleted their accounts, is fantastic because it resonates with me. I used to be such a snobbish idiot, but now I outgrew that part. I outgrew that time in my life. And it says, if you don't put yourself out there, you won't have any friends. To that, another person replies, I spent my early 20s thinking I was this artful outsider who didn't have anything in common with my co-workers or peers. I was extremely judgmental about everyone, and in turn I was really isolated, spending a lot of time by myself at home, talking on message boards with other people who I felt like related to me. I can't explain what happened, but I had a break somewhere around 26 or 27 where I was like, I'm actually just a narrow-minded, secluded, stuck-up asshole who goes online to talk to other people who are just like me to seek validation. In reality, I'm surrounded by people who may not share my worldview, but aren't really terrible people, and they deserve kindness way more than I do. It's been 10 years since that revelation, and I've spent them It's been 10 years since that revelation, and I've spent them making and building relationships with different people, especially at work. Helps work go a lot faster, right? Helps work go a lot faster. Having friends there you can talk to about whatever. And I do. In the place where I work, I have a friend who has been in that place for as long as me, almost. No, a little bit longer than me. But he's so sarcastic, and I'm so oblivious, and I'm such an oblivious person that my reactions towards his sarcasm, which is mostly obliviousness and similar sentiments, he finds hilarious, and as soon as I understand his sarcasm, we both have a laugh. A truly sarcastic person won't be mean all the time. You can be sarcastic and not mean. To that, another person replies, I was exactly the same. I had my realization only a couple years later than you too. I was exactly the same. And I had my realization only a couple years later than you too. Later than you too. I actually care about having friends now, even if they aren't 100% like me or share any common interests. Contrasts. And most contrasts give life a little bit of flavor, figuratively speaking. After spending almost all my 20s alone, I got depressed and thought to myself, do I really want to spend my 30s the same way? Yeah, make friends, make connections. You can be an introvert, but you can still put yourself out there. You can still put yourself out there in situations that are to make connections, You sure are a fantastic artist that makes beautiful art. However, if you don't have the contacts that will help you if you don't have the contacts that will help you promote your art, then you will be totally lost. I hope I'm making sense. I hope let us continue reading. Back to the answer I was reading. Let us read it again. And it says, I was exactly the same. I had my realization about a couple years later than you do. I actually care about having friends now, even if they aren't 100% like me or share any common interests. After spending almost all my 20s alone, I got depressed and I thought to myself, do I really want to spend my 30s the same way? It's still hard though. Everyone's always too busy. Aren't we all? We are. Let's move on to another reply that says, but also let's read something. Let's listen to some different music, for example. Let's listen to the Tekken video game soundtrack. I'm listening to that, but I'm not going to show it here, and I'm not going to play it as a background for this. I would love to, but I don't want to be harassed by YouTube regarding copyright stuff. After doing that, let's move on to another reply. Freedom! Freedom is such an amazing thing, but with freedom, just like with power, comes a big responsibility. And this person says, the freedom is awesome, but with that freedom comes consequences for your actions and choices. Accountability needs to be had by both sexes. Deadbeat fathers and women that like to use their sex to get away with stuff. Back to this one. The freedom is awesome, but with that freedom comes consequences for your actions and choices. Bills suck. Family drama sucks. People you know start to die, which sucks. And you still don't have everything figured out, but you learn more as time passes. Sometimes the hard way. Yeah, for example, when you write something and you let other person read it, you might want to read it twice before the other person reads it, so that they don't think that you are some insane psychopath. Yeah. Again, with freedom and power come great responsibilities. With freedom come some obligations, you know? Now, this person is going to provide a super long reply. Let's take a look. The following person talks about how basically childhood is a secluded, scheduled, rigid period with arrangements and organizations that resemble a kind of timetable. Let's take a look. This person says, "What is a sad reality about being an adult?" This person replies, "Childhood is heavily structured, sort of like having bumpers on a bowling lane. For the most part, you know where you're supposed to be and where you're going next. This is true both on a daily basis and on a long-term basis. Every day, your parents arrange for your breakfast. Then you go to school, you go to an extracurricular, you come home, your parents arrange for your dinner, you do homework, you play, you go to bed. Each year, you have midterms, then finals, then you move to the next grade. You go from elementary school to middle school, to high school, to college or tech school, then to a job. It's possible to go off the rails as a kid, but it's fairly difficult. The system will exert immense force to keep you on track and rolling along to the end. But even if you fuck up significantly, the system will exert immense force to keep you on track and rolling along the end, even if you fuck up significantly. There is always somebody to pick you up and chuck you back down the bowling lane, even if you start rolling backwards. If you skip school and get caught, the police might even haul you in as a truant. The system is that serious about keeping you moving along the path. Then you graduate and the bumpers come off. The lane disappears. And you are a bowling ball sitting in an empty field. There's no more track. There is no system pushing you along. There is not even any pins, no obvious goal or objective. If you fuck up or slack off as an adult, you might literally become homeless or sleep under a bridge. You might literally not eat. You could actually die. That force that propels kids from grade to grade, promoting them up through the system, does not exist at all in the adult world. There's nothing propelling you into a job, promotion, or raises. There is nothing propelling you into renting an apartment, finding a spouse, or owning a house. You have to fight and scrap and challenge for everything from money to recognition to social interaction. Everything. The freedom that comes along with this is wonderful, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It is the way it needs to be. But many people wipe out in readerly adulthood because they think the magic force propelling them forward will stick around forever. Far too many people think that they are just going to be handed a job, promotions, and a house. For the simple reason that they were handed everything else they needed up until that point. But that's not how adulting works. This reminded me of the video that shows a baby bird trying to eat a worm. And why do I say trying to eat? Because the bird was literally sitting on the floor. Concrete floor or dirt, I don't know, but it was there. And there was a worm over there trying to move. But the bird, instead of grabbing the worm with its beak, like this, yum, 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 yum. No, the worm was literally there. And the bird was like, well, opening its beak. But he was wondering, what the heck? Why aren't you in my mouth? Come on, I'm opening my beak. Get in here. This is the worm and this is the beak of the bird. And I was like, huh? Pio, 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 what happened? The bird is here and I open the bird, open the beak and nothing happens. All this long comment with a very great insight and a magnificent viewpoint talks about that. Can be illustrated with that analogy that I just said. Let's see if I can find that video online. Bird, baby bird. Baby bird trying to eat a worm. I found it. Young bird thinking food will automatically jump to his mouth. Idiot. But once again, using that word to describe a bird not knowing how to eat is ludicrous because I am judging the bird by human standards. Young bird thinking food will automatically jump to its mouth. Why? Because its mom or its dad, its parents were feeding it all the time. When it was in the nest, raising the beak, and the parents would just put the worm into their mouth. It's so absurd. It's so absurd. One person includes another comment. To add to this, once that single track path disappears, you can't continue to compare yourself and your progress to people in your age group. Milestones don't come at the same time for anyone anymore, even for things like graduating college, if you even decide to go to college. Don't waste energy feeling behind. If it takes you longer to finish school, to find a career you enjoy, start a family, or whatever it is you want, focus on working hard to meet your own goals and you'll get there in your own time. Yeah, everyone advances at different paces. I'm in my 30s and I'm still not married, but I'm pretty sure that the right person will come. A nephew of mine recently married his girlfriend, whom he dated for 7 years. And what else? He's super much younger than me. He's in his 20s and I'm in my 30s, so that should give you an idea of how different the age gaps are between us. And that's a nephew of mine. Oh my god. Huh? Oh yeah. Then this other person replies, and this one hurts because I'm living it right now. I'm experiencing that. And it says, seeing your mom getting so old, gray and short has been a bit shit. Realizing that your nieces and nephews are now the same age you were when they were born. When I was probably 10, 10, 2, 13, 14, 15, 16, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my god! Apparently I was 17. No, apparently I was 17 or 16 when my nephew was born. And now he's 17. No, he's basically 18. And I'm in my 30s. That resonates a lot with me. Realizing that your nieces and your nephews are now the same age you were when they were born. Yep, it's a tough realization. My little boy is growing up and he's gonna be a tough guy, hardened by life, who is a hard worker and doesn't care about school. And that last part is okay, you know, alright? That last part is okay. It's just that that last part is okay. The part that hurts, that makes me thinking, makes me wonder about stuff, is the fact that I'm describing him as battle-hardened, life-hardened. I can only imagine what things harden him. Not his heart, but his demeanor, you know? Oh my god, this one is terrible. But first, let me read the reply to that comment. And it says, alright, to that reply I just read, it says, I hung out at a big Christmas party, and this bored teen was flirting with me. And it shocked my life to realize I first met her as a toddler. Nope, stay out of me, kid. Release yourself, child. Get out of there. She used to hide behind her mother's legs when our parents visited hers, and now she wants to show off her tattoos. That last part is okay. Alright? Oh, you have a tattoo in your arm. Do you want to show it? Let me see. Oh, that's a flower. Nice. Ugh, the first... I swear to God, I flinched at the first line that says, huh? A bored teen was flirting? Stay out of here. Sorry, nope. I'm out. Goodbye. It says, right in the fields. A couple people give some short replies that say basically, right in the fields, and my once baby niece is a dentist now. Oh my god. But then, here comes one good perspective that frankly, I couldn't agree with more. With which, frankly, I couldn't agree more. And it says, count yourself lucky you got to watch your mother age. Count yourself lucky if you get to see your father grow old. Count yourself lucky if you grow up with your sibling, if you and your siblings grow up and get all together. Count yourself lucky if it's you and them against the world, so to speak. Oh my god, that one hurt, and it resonated with me a lot. And then the next one says, people usually don't give you the benefit of the doubt anymore. What does that mean? The benefit of the doubt. The benefit, give me a second. The benefit of the doubt. What does that mean? I think I understand that. The benefit of the doubt means a concession that a person or a statement must be regarded as correct or justified if the contrary has not been proved. I'm not sure I understood it. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt as to whether it was deliberate or not. Come on, use easier examples. Benefit of the doubt, grammar, definition, an example. Again, the definition: give someone the benefit of the doubt means to believe someone's good intentions or honesty, even when to believe that someone is actually good, even when there is certainty or doubt. It's a way of choosing to trust a person and assuming they are innocent or truthful until proven otherwise. I understand now. People don't believe in your innocence and don't believe that you have good inherently good intentions. To that one, someone else replies. Also, when you accomplish something is not impressive for someone your age anymore. It's just I'm top 10 in my country's racquetball club. I'm top 10 in my country's racquetball club. Wow, cool. To that, one person replies, this one heard once I turned 20. Everyone would always tell me how cool it was that I was a teen and accomplishing everything that I was, and then that abruptly stopped. I literally dreaded turning 20 because of this. Lol. Short reply. Next reply is Again, the next one has to do with inflation because it says no more holiday vacation, spring break, or summer vacation unless you save up for them. Youch. Yeah, it's all about inflation. There is one reply that says worse. This reply is longer and it says worse is that even if you do get a nice vacation you've saved up time and money for, you still have to deal with the fact that wherever you go, there's going to be like a bunch of other people doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, hoping to have the exact kind of experience you're having. Think you'll enjoy a nice quiet trip to Antarctica? Well, guess what? So did this family of 8 with a chihuahua and this really rich entitled elderly couple. who somehow brought an RV there to park in front of the most picturesque view. What's that? You want to eat at the top-rated restaurant in Antarctica? Have fun waiting 2 hours for a table and paying $30 for a burger. Thought you would book time to hang out with the penguins? Sorry, they are booked solid for the next 4 months unless you want to pay $200 for the VIP pass that doesn't include anything else other than you get to join that family of 8 that also somehow pay $200 per person and a dog. Enjoy watching Braden kick a penguin while Kaylee and Coco see who can scream and bark louder. Youch. 2 downsides. This is why I choose to go to deliberately not very popular destinations. If I were to choose between Paris or Toulouse or any other French city or French town, I will take another French town or French city that is not Paris. Yeah. Let us continue. This one resonates because I just had cheese for lunch. Cheese is incredibly expensive. Again, inflation. This person says, my love for brie on crackers is financially devastating. Ah, speaking of cheese, give me a second. Speaking of cheese, give me a second. I'm gonna show you something. Oh my god. I love that comment because it says, yes, I wear trousers when I'm recording these videos. That was so dumb. Anyway, speaking of cheese. This person says, my love for brie on crackers is financially devastating. This reminds me of some sausages I bought and a little bit of string cheese. I really love string cheese, but also I love Gouda. Since this person talked about cheese, since this person wrote an answer about cheese, I'm going to cut a little bit of cheese while I'm recording this. So delicious. Let us continue. The next one talks about free time, and once again, even if this may not be applicable to me 100%, doesn't mean that it could, you know? In this economy, anyone loses their jobs easily. I love my job, but I will defend it tooth and nail by doing my job properly. This person then replies that you never really have free time anymore. Even when you're not working or studying or taking care of family, the free time you have almost always needs to be used for Oops! For anyone listening but not watching, I just spat saliva. I'm so sorry, it was an accident. Even when you're not working or studying or taking care of life, family, etc., the free time you have almost always needs to be used for general life maintenance. Cleaning, for example, especially when you live alone. The kitchen always needs cleaning. The garbage always needs emptying. There's always something not quite right with your car. There's always a form that needs filling in. You're always about to run out of shampoo. It's relentless, etc. In my case, I'm running out of string cheese. So good. So delicious. Screw it, I'm eating a little sausage. Screw it, I'm eating a little sausage when I'm recording this. How much time of video do I have? One hour apparently. Good. One more. Again, I have it, but I shouldn't take it for granted. The next person says, life isn't full of endless possibilities. The older you get, the harder it becomes to choose different life paths, whether you like the path you're currently on or not. It's never late to learn a new skill. It's never too late. Because then another person replies, I remember that when I was 17, thinking that there would never be another time in my life when I had so many choices open for me. Then I thought, I'm probably going to make the wrong ones because I have no experience. I was correct on both counts. That was tough. Oh, what about this one? This is me. This is me today. Pain from not doing. Pain from doing nothing. Just hurting because you're old. Ouch. I hurt my knee getting into bed the other day and I thought I tore something. It was sore for 2 days. And it's fine now, but what the fuck? What in the actual fuck? I love that answer. There is an answer that I'm looking for. Something about money actually buying happiness. I want to read it. I found it. The answer I wanted to read, but first, let me read the previous ones. It says, next answer. It says, freedom is financial. I'm sure there is a minimalistic way of approaching this, and freedom is different for everybody. But being able to do what you want is determined by your finances. If you can, enjoy your winter, summer, and spring breaks. Totally. To this reply, someone else replies. To this reply, someone agrees, basically. Next. Something about not having your shit together. Not even your parents do. When they say, it'll make sense when you're older, they mean it. You don't really get to have your shit together by the time that you are in your 20s or 30s. Oh my god, this one resonates with me a lot because from Monday to Friday I don't have to go to bed really early because the next day I don't have to. However, eventually you will prefer to go to bed early rather than stay up late, even if you don't have to get up for work the next day. Me when I was younger. When I'm grown up, I'm going to go to bed whenever I want to. And then me as an adult over a weekend, you know what? The sun has just set. I think it's an appropriate time to go to bed. I couldn't agree more. The moment that I'm recording this is already past midnight. However, give me a second, I need to unplug this. The moment that I'm recording this is a little bit past midnight. Again, the moment that I'm recording this is a little past midnight. But still, I'm going to... help me. But still, I'm going to... The moment that I'm recording this is a little bit past midnight. However, I will do my best not to go to bed later than that. Then the next person says it's a free trial until you're 18. It's pay to play after that. And pay to win too. I like this breakdown. Well done, sir. Oh my god, this is terrible. And it says, bullies still exist. Hey, but it's not old school anymore. Most of the time, people don't care really for bullying. But in other places, people thrive on it. This is true. They just adjust their bullying techniques to fit within the workplace culture. But rest assured, they're still out there. And for things like this, I always tell my nieces and nephews, if there is a bully at school, if they try to burn you, make sure they burn with you. If they lay a hand on you, try to solve it nicely by telling an adult. If it doesn't work, record evidence so that when you fight back brutally, or brutally, so that when you fight back brutally, and you defend yourself brutally, and even if you send them to the hospital, or in the worst cases, a couple meters underground, There is evidence to support your and justify your actions, alright? There is evidence to support your action. This one resonates with me because even Eminem, the legendary white rapper, Slim Shady, would agree with this. Money really does buy happiness. It's not the money itself, but it's the freedom and opportunity that it gives you. Unfortunately, you need it not just to survive, but to create the life you want. You may think it is not important to you now, but it's easy to say that when all your needs are being met. You may not think it's important to you now, but it's easy to say that when all your needs are being met. If you want to maintain the carefree days of your childhood with the freedom of adulthood, you need money. If you have a hobby, if you want to buy figurines, games, video game consoles and stuff, you need money for that. Also, you're probably hearing people tell you to do what you love. You should do what you love, but the career you choose doesn't necessarily have to be your passion. Choose a career that will give you the time and money to devote to what you really love. Again, this is why so many parents whose children want to be artists, musicians or actors, or work in any career that is not really well paid, they tell them, no, you should instead be a lawyer, a doctor or something so you don't starve to death. Lawyer, doctor or engineer. Yep. So yeah, money does buy happiness. It's not money itself, but the opportunity it gives you. Money buys time, and time is the most valuable thing in life. I couldn't agree more. The next person says, things seem to go away faster. It feels like the last 5 years as a whole went by quicker than every single year before that. True, they say that your perception of time is a little different from when you're a kid and when you're an adult. This other person says, you just start seeing the world for what it is and realize that it's always been this way. You were just ignorant. Nah, that's true, but when some certain politicians start dying, you realize that there is room for change. There is room for change, you know? This person replies, screw it, I'm doing that. Fuck me, and this is what I'm slowly realizing as an 18-year-old, grade 12. The phrases and sayings that I hear and once pushed off as boring or useless information are now becoming more and more of a reality. The sad part of it all, my friend, is that I haven't had a good high school experience. It was filled with betrayal and depression and anxiety. I ain't asking for sympathy, but I just want to know from an older person how I can try to squeeze the most out of my life right now and stop worrying about the little things, even when I can't, and that's all I fucking do right now. There is one reply that says, you just start seeing the world for what it is and realize it's always been this way. Some people do, but others don't. Those people you see, millennials and Gen Z bashing or talking about how in their day people respected their elders and blah 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 blah, refuse to take off their rose-tinted glasses and see the era of their childhood from an adult lens. I agree. I was listening to the same song for over 20 minutes, so even if I enjoy it, I'm going to change. In the meantime, I'm listening to the Battletoads soundtrack. I'm listening to Battletoads soundtrack. However, I'm not playing this here because I don't want to be harassed and screwed over because of copyright. Let's continue. A couple more. This is a long reply and it says, every decision you make might seem like the right one at the time. There is no use in dwelling on your past mistakes. So feel whatever you feel and let it go. Edit. Some of you are mistaking my wording here. Dwelling is not the same as learning from your past and your mistakes. Dwelling would be the inability to move forward from what has happened, even though you can't change it. You can learn from your past mistakes and improve upon yourself. Nowhere did I say not to learn from your past mistakes. Totally. I do not dwell on my past relationship with this wonderful girl who used to love anime, whose parents insisted on children and starting a family, and who pulled a despicable prank on me regarding some pregnancy. Not a fake pregnancy test, just a note that said, "Congratulations, you're gonna be a dad." I did not like that. This is why I believe that pregnancy jokes are the worst thing you can do. If the person really wants it, it's gonna be a heartbreak and a hard sore that is going to shatter trust. And if the person doesn't want it, it's a jump scare. And also it's a break shattering event. Either way is bad. So never make pranks. Pull pranks about pregnancies. Like, I've called my mom to tell her, "Mom, my girlfriend is pregnant and I'm gonna be a dad." No! Everyone and anyone doing pranks like this should get their comeuppance, and they should get a taste of their own medicine. I hate that. But again, I'm not dwelling on it, but I'm learning. And I'm learning not to accept this sort of rude pranks from anyone. It's so frustrating. A couple more before I go to sleep. Similar to facing the consequences of your actions. There is this one that says, similar to the one about facing the consequences of your actions, there is this one that says, eating all the candy you want has consequences. Again, yes. This is why just one candy is enough, no more. The following phrase reminds me of a piece of wisdom that Uncle Phil in the TV show The Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith and other people. The following phrase resonates with me and reminds me of this piece of wisdom given to Will by Uncle Phil in the TV show The Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith as the protagonist. Once you're in college, what you did in high school doesn't matter at all anymore. Whether you had tons of extracurriculars in high school, and you were valedictorian and got a full ride, you start college at the same place as someone who barely scraped it in. None of what came before matters anymore. Yes! I remove a hair from my nose. Same thing once you finish college and start working. Once you're in the workforce for a few years and get some actual experience, nobody cares where you went to college or what your GPA was. Totally, it's about making contacts, you know? Not saying this to imply you shouldn't do those extra things, but they're really not that important in the long run, but still do them. Make contacts, make friends with people that know, make friends with people that have contacts, get skills that can be marketable, etc. Do it now. The next one says, do it now. Whatever it is that you want from life, do it now. Don't wait, just do it now. You'll blink and you will be 50 years old. Enjoy your life, do it your way. So many people work a job they hate, paying off someone else's house, etc., waiting for someone to give them permission to do that thing that they always wanted to do. Do it now, do it today, like Shia LaBeouf. Just do it! Fuck that, it's not going to happen. People are worrying about their own things, not yours, so do it now. Again, be a little selfish sometimes. Just a little. Just a little. Just a little selfish. And there is another one that says that there is a lot more responsibility in life that you know. Enjoy this period when your parents take care of stuff for you. Your childhood and part of your adolescence. The next one says, you realize that a lot of people are struggling with trauma and mental health issues. It's harder to notice as kids, totally. And speaking of mental health, the following one sounds terrible, but it kind of rings true. Being depressed and down all the time will push people away from you. Sure, they may care, but also, you gotta do the effort to defeat that horrible monster called depression. You gotta do the effort. You gotta make the effort. Big surprise for me when I became depressed, and the first thing all my friends did was either get mad at me, avoid me, until I had no friends. Maybe they That's true, or maybe they weren't good friends at the same time. Ugh. It's a little bit of both. Seconding what was said, as someone who eventually had to drop some depressed friends, I'm not a therapist and there is a limit to my ability to try and help. There is a limit. You can still help. But don't overwork yourself for someone that doesn't wish to try and do the improving themselves. Do I make sense? I hope I do. Eventually I cannot take the dragging me down even if they refuse to help themselves. Keywords. If you refuse to help themselves. This is why all my filth, all my depression and all my feelings of sloth, negativity and all that stuff, I keep it in my room with me where nobody can see it. In my flat. If someone is depressed, down in the trams, etc., I'm not going to run away screaming. I'll do my part to help and be understanding. However, I'm not a trained therapist, so if every time I see them, it's a vent session where I'm expected to take all the baggage and carry it, I can't keep it up for long. If someone wants help and it's helping themselves, I'm going to stick with them. Keyword. If someone wants help and is helping themselves, I'll stick around. But if someone just wants to dump their misery on me, I'm going to leave and I'm gonna tell you to sit here. You hear me, Oshkar Kokoshka? I hope something bad happens to you that makes you realize you were a freeloading leech. This character I'm talking about. I'm going to stick with them, but if someone just wants to dump their misery on me, that's another adult lesson that you have to take care of yourself first. Be a little selfish. A little. Just a little. Because let's say that if you're a man married to your wife and you expect the wife to take care of you, but you don't work and do anything, then piss off. She might as well divorce you or and run away in the middle of the night and abandon you. And you rightfully deserved it. Damn, do I hate this guy. All that being said, a sneaker way that ends up driving people away is just never showing up. Always turning down invites. People will eventually stop reaching out. If you stop reaching out. There is this girl that I always used to invite to go for dinner. She always said no. 3 times in 3 weeks, so I stopped. Best decision ever. Best decision ever. Whatever life comes at you, I hope it goes good. I hope it goes well. Moving on. And by moving on, I mean let's finish it right there. Let's finish it right there. That's it. Those are some sad realities of growing up and becoming an adult, which suck. But I strongly feel this is a conversation that really needed to happen, you know? Can't thank you enough for being here, and can't thank you enough for being here and listening to this rant and this conversation here. Feel free to consider this a podcast, which I doubt it. This is not a podcast, this is just a silly video online, you know? And I hope you watch it, and I would love to see your comments. The top 3 most liked comments will be featured in the next AskReddit video that I make. Cheese. Thank you very much, Brave New World.